English Literature Studies.
What is sonnet? How it was introduced in English literature? What is the history of sonnet? What is Petrarchan sonnet? Different compositional structures of sonnet given by different writers. Sonnet is written to be sung with an accompaniment of a musical instrument, and it is composed of 14 lines, and it is written in an iambic pentameter. Iambic pentameter is a rhythmic pattern, a musical rhythm, which is unstressed and stressed sound, and penta means 5. So 10 syllables or 10 words make 5 pentameters. So 2 pairs of syllable make 1 iamb, and those 5 pairs of unstressed and stressed sounds are called iambic pentameter, which are unstressed and stressed. We will deeply discuss meter in a separate video. So for now, iambic pentameter is a unstressed and stressed sound. The word sonnet is derived from an Italian word, sonetto, which means a little sound. It was originated by Dante around 13th or 14th century. However, it was introduced in England in 16th century, and it was introduced by Thomas Wyatt. Iambic meter and rhyming lines are the major part of sonnet. So let's look at Italian sonnet first. What is Italian sonnet and why is it called Italian sonnet? So, Italian sonnet was written in Italian language in 13th century. When it was actually started, it was 13th century. It was traditionally written on the themes of love. However, later on, poets discovered new themes like politics, religion, nature, spirituality, and many other themes. But initially, it was written on the theme of love. It is called Italian sonnet. This is the background of sonnet, which comes from Italy. There are varieties of sonnet written in different languages, but the 2 types of sonnet are the most famous in English literature. If we study English literature, then we have to study Petrarchan sonnet and then English sonnet. The Petrarchan sonnet and English sonnet are the most famous sonnets studied in any literature, especially in English literature. So, Petrarchan sonnet, is it just another name of Italian sonnet, or is it something different? It is very important to mention that Petrarchan sonnet is just another name of Italian sonnet or classical sonnet. So 3 of these names are just another name of one another: Petrarchan sonnet, Italian sonnet, and classical sonnet. 3 of these names can be used interchangeably. Alright, so let's move on to Petrarchan sonnet. Why the Italian sonnet is also called Petrarchan sonnet? This is a question here. Petrarchan sonnets were discovered by Giacomo da Lentino, a Sicilian lawyer. So it was started by Giacomo da Lentino that he discovered sonnets. Later, Francisco Petrarch wrote sonnets for his beloved Laura. In the first place, sonnets were discovered. The word sonnet and the idea of the sonnet was discovered by Giacomo da Lentino, but it was written by Francisco Petrarch. He wrote sonnets for his beloved Laura. His complete name is Francisco Petrarch. He is a writer, Italian writer. And he started sonnets with the theme of love. As we discussed in our previous slide, that the initial of a sonnet was love. So Francisco Petrarch was the writer who started the writing of the sonnet with the theme of love. So Italian sonnet was established in 13th century by Cavalcante, Dante and Petrarch. Italian sonnets provided a terminology, theme and form to the succeeding generations. Italian sonnets provided a way, it paved a way for the new coming generations, the new upcoming writers of the new generation. For the new writers, it paved a way. It gave the ideas of theme, terminology to the new writers. Let's talk about the theme. What is the theme of a Petrarchan sonnet? Well, it is a short musical poem which deals with a single emotion, and it is accompanied by a musical instrument. It falls under the category of lyric. It is written in a musical pattern, in a musical rhythm, which is unstressed and stressed. It thrived under the influence of Petrarch, means it flourished under the influence of Petrarch. So Petrarch is the major name when it comes to sonnet. Petrarch wrote 317 sonnets for his love Laura. However, he wrote about 40 sonnets which are addressed to his friends only. The major collection of the sonnets are written in the dedication of his love Laura. Let's look at the structural composition of a Petrarchan sonnet. A Petrarchan sonnet is divided into two parts, octave and sestet. Octave contains problems or questions. However, the second part, sestet, contains solutions or answers to the problems or questions discussed in octave part of the sonnet. So these two are the parts of sonnet, octave and sestet. So what is octave? The first 8 lines in which poet discuss problems. Those first 8 lines are called octave. Octave itself means 8, the number 8. So these octave lines are also called quatrains if divided into 2 parts. Means a group of 4 lines is called quatrain or stanza. And in this way, there are 2 quatrains in an octave. Alright? So let's look at the second part, sestet. Since it contains 6 lines, it is called sestet. So sestet provides the answer, the solutions to the problems discussed in octave. It means the first 8 lines of sonnet. Combining these lines makes a sonnet. Then what is volta? Volta is not a line. This is a turn which occurs when a poet turns from an octave to sestet, means the 9th line in a sonnet. The turn in the 9th line is called volta. The 9th line falls in the part of sestet, where the musical rhythm should be stressed or unstressed. So this A, B, B, A is a quatrain. These 4 characters make quatrain, means first, second, third, fourth. These 4 lines are repeated in a pattern. So the sound, the rhyming pattern of line number 1 should also be followed in the 4th line. So this is a quatrain and this is another quatrain. And these 2 quatrains make an octave. Means these are 4 and 4, 8 lines. These 8 lines are called octave. And moving on to this part, C, D, E, D, C, E. This is a sestet and C is the line. the volta occurs. It refers that the fourth line should also follow the same rhyming pattern as the first line. This one also refers the same. And these second and fourth line should follow the same rhyming pattern. So this D also refers that the rhyming pattern of this line should follow the same rhyming pattern as in the second line of sestet. So these are the two different rhyming schemes of Petrarchan sonnet. These both can be used in Petrarchan sonnet. C, D, E, D, C, E. This is the only difference here, the change here. In both of these rhyming patterns, the sestet is different. But these both are Petrarchan sonnet. Alright? So how were these Italian sonnets introduced into English language? In 16th century, Thomas Wyatt introduced Italian sonnets into English language. He translated Italian sonnets into English language. And later on, the Earl of Surrey changed the rhyming scheme of sonnets into iambic pentameter. And that was AB, AB, CD, CD, EF, EF, G, G. So Sir Thomas Wyatt was the first to introduce these Italian sonnets into English language, and this happened in 16th century when he translated Italian sonnets into English language. This way sonnets became the part of English language. Although the number of lines remained the same in English sonnets as in Petrarchan sonnet, but there were two quatrains in Italian sonnet. However, if we look at this one, it transformed into three quatrains. Quatrain number 1, 2 and 3. It became three quatrains. However, in Petrarchan sonnet, there were only two quatrains. Means those two quatrains made an octave. And here there are three quatrains and one couplet. These two verses, last two verses, make a couplet. So the quatrains mention problems. However, the ninth one mentions solutions. Also, these English sonnets are called Shakespearean sonnets. Shakespeare wrote 154 sonnets. So he played a major role in flourishing English sonnets. So we will definitely make another video about Shakespeare sonnets. So for now, English sonnets are also called Shakespearean sonnets. Let's look at John Donne. John Donne, he also wrote religious sonnets in 17th century. On the other hand, John Milton wrote satirical, life and death sonnets. He followed Petrarchan rhyming scheme. Means John Milton followed the rhyming scheme which was given by Petrarch. So there's another form which is called curtal sonnet. It was invented by G.M. Hopkins and it contained 10.5 lines. So this is also a form of sonnet. Shakespeare wrote 154 sonnets in English. John Milton wrote 24 sonnets. Wordsworth wrote 523 sonnets. John Keats wrote 67 sonnets. P.B. Shelley wrote 18 sonnets. And at last, S.D. Coleridge wrote 48 sonnets. Let's look at the different rhyming schemes given by different writers. Petrarchan rhyming scheme is an octave and sestet. ABBA, ABBA is an octave, and CDC, CDC, CDE, CDE sestet. So there can be a difference in sestet, but the octave remains the same. Shakespearean rhyming scheme is the same. AB, AB, CD, CD, EF, EF, GG, as it was given by the Earl of Surrey. On the other hand, we have P.B. Shelley. Her rhyming scheme was divided into couplets AB, AB, AC, DC, ED, EF, EF. And John Milton followed the rhyming scheme of Petrarchan Sonnet AB, BA, AB, BA, CD, CC, DC, CDE, CDE. And last, Spenserian sonnets. Spenser followed AB, AB, BC, BC, CD, CD, E, E. So this is all about different rhyming schemes used by different writers for writing sonnets. The English sonnets is minor in form. These 14 lines are restricted in a pattern, but these are flexible to give great meaning. It is challenging for a poet to express his emotions and thoughts in a narrow pattern of 14 lines and a strict rhyming scheme. Yet, there are many appreciable sonnets written by writers in English and Italian language. So this is all about sonnet in this video. If you have anything to share about sonnet, then do share your part of information in comment section. As I always mention, learning is a never-ending process. Thank you for watching English Literature Studies.